Harper Audio presents After All These Years by Susan Isaacs. Performed by Christine Baranski. After nearly a quarter of a century of marriage, Rosie Meyers, my husband, told me to call him Rick. Then he started slicking back his hair with $35 a jar English pomade. Okay, I admit I was annoyed. But wasn't Richie entitled to a life crisis? He was just 2 years from 50. His jaw wasn't so much chiseled from granite anymore as sculpted from mashed potatoes. Well, I could empathize. At 11 months younger than Richie, I didn't exactly qualify as a spring chicken. Still, unless a man's taste ran to prepubescent milkmaids with braids, I would probably be considered somewhere between attractive and downright pretty. Shiny dark hair, clear skin, even features, hazel eyes, plus one hell of a set of eyelashes. And not a bad body either. Like Richie, I wasn't so crazy about growing old, especially since I had at last come to appreciate the unlikelihood of immortality. A person who can laugh in the face of eternal nothingness is a schmuck. So my heart went out to him, and I made a sincere effort to call him Rick. But after all those years of Richie, I'd slip up every so often. Like in bed, I'd cry out, "Oh, God, don't stop, Rick." But by then, he was shriveling, and seconds later, it looked as if he'd scotch-taped a shrimp to his pubic area. The signs were there, all right. I just didn't read them. That's how come I was surprised when, on the bright blue June morning after our silver anniversary party, Richie told me he was leaving me for his senior vice president. For Jessica. Jessica Stevenson had been one of the 200 guests at our silver anniversary party the night before. Yes, Jessica was a younger woman, but not obnoxiously so. At 38, Jessica was a mere 9 years younger than I. Unfortunately, she was incredibly chic, had aquamarine eyes, and was learning Japanese for the fun of it. At what turned out to be the final party of my marriage, I'd actually blown her a kiss as I raced by, searching for the caterer. Jessica was standing in awesomely high-heeled gold sandals, with a couple of the other data associate executives laughing, squeezing a wedge of lime into her drink. She waved back with her usual energy. "Rosie, hello." With her gold skirt and the platinum highlights in her dark gold hair, she looked shimmery and magical, almost like a mermaid. But that Richie would actually leave me for her? Please. He and I had a history. We'd made a life together. A rich life, long before all the money. We had children, so... Yes, I was surprised. Okay, stunned. That summer I went through all the scorned first wife stages. Hysteria, paralysis, denial. I was utterly alone. Husband gone, kids grown and off on their own, and our beagle, Irving, died the first week in August. I wandered through the house, weeping, remembering Richie's body heat, the children's warmth, Irving's cold and loving nose. At least wandering was exercise. When Richie hit it big, he did not believe that less was more. More was more. One day we were in our Cape Cod with its original early 60s all-avocado kitchen. The next we were 2.5 miles north, right on Long Island Sound in Great Gatsby country, in a Georgian-style house so stately it actually had a name. Gull's Haven. Admittedly, a nocturnal wanderer in a New York Shakespeare Festival t-shirt and pointlessly sexy black panties wasn't the picture Gull's Haven ought to have evoked, but that's how it was on that fateful night. Fateful? To tell you the truth, that night didn't seem any more or less ominous than any other. I woke up around 3:30. I realized I wouldn't get any more sleep because I was scared to take any more Xanax. My luck, the next pill could be the one to put me in what the doctors would diagnose as a persistent vegetative state. I wandered some more. At that point, my stomach rumbled. I walked into the dark basketball court-sized kitchen, and I tripped. Tripped? God almighty, tumbled over...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?